I'd like to create a demonstration video as we create a new page using the innovator design. So let me just preview the actual preview site, and let me dive in directly to the how we are going to create a certain page. So we can actually mimic the home page. So let me just go to the home page and let me just maybe open it in another tab. So we can just compare it side by side. And since we don't have any opportunity to duplicate the page, so all we need to do is just recreate the page, for example. So let me just go to the Actions tab, and we have a drop down list here. Then we'll select the Add page. Then, of course, we have the title, the path, and the page type. So let me just quickly explain what these fields are all about. For the title, this is basically the title of the page. So let me see. This is the home page. Homepage demo. Then probably we will be using the homepage. Homepage. By the way, we need to use hyphen to separate the words. Like for example, homepage demo, or demonstration or demo website is another word. So demo, and we'll be selecting the property type. By the way, we have a lot of property types here. By default, we have the about page, support pages, like it's like a custom page. Like you can just um, create like the testimonial items. We have the um, custom section, something like that. Or you can actually create the homepage, like the default template for the homepage. We have the template for the property list, and as we go each of these to each of these lists, so we can have the property. By the way, let me explain. This is the homepage. Property list is just the entire property, or let me just go here. This is just the exact example of the property list. So we have a grid and a list of the properties. Then again, let me go back there. We have the property. Basically, this is the property details. In comparison, you can just go and click on the certain property, and this is an exact property page type. And we also have other property list here. Testimonials, of course, this that's understandable. We have the testimonials page. We have associates. Basically, this is the team page. Let me just go here. We don't know if we have team page here. I think we don't have a team page since this is just an agent page. But you can set the associates page for the team, and of course the details of that associate page, the associate details page. And we have also the blog, the generic blog posts, and of course we can have also the blog from category. If you want to create a specific page which will pull up the category from a certain blog, then you can blogs from a certain category, so you can use the blog from the category or from category. We also have blog post, and yeah, this is understandable. We have the MLS for the entire MLS search, the list, then the item for the details of that MLS search. We have communities for, of course, the list of communities, and community for the details of the community. Home valuation, we know that this is a like another custom page which contains the home valuation component. Developments, if we would like to use the template for the developments page. and development for the development details page. So, but I'd like to just make the home page. I'd like to create that. By the way, let me just take a look at the home page I have created. This is the demo, and we have here an open. This is the default home page, and this is now the header. What are we? Is it necessary to kind of use the template or the type of the page that you are creating? Yeah, it's necessary so that you can just we can just pull up the necessary sections of the page. Like for example, we have the header. But by the way, we can just delete all of these sections later. Let me demonstrate, but let me explain that we can we can create a page by using just a scratch or even without the sections of the pages of this page. So what do I mean by this? By default, we have defaults components here. Since we know that a page composes or contains different components, like we've discussed about components are different from global components. Global components are usually the headers, the overlay, but we can define that also here. We can use the global components. Like in this case, we have the header, footer, and work with us. These are global components. And now, what we can do here is let me just go from the first tab. This is the general tab. By the way, you can edit the name of that, the name of the property, I mean page, and you can also edit the path of the page. You can set the SEO, and yeah, all of this you can just put the specific or the appropriate content for the SEO tab or on the SEO tab. Components are these things here. So we have the default components, and we have also the global components. By the way, we can just reuse this without the default components, but it will make our lives easier as builders when we create a certain page. When we select the appropriate type of the page, like just before we created this. If you are going to create a home page, then you should select the home page um, as the property type or the page type. So by the way, you can just reorder this component, and the order of this component defines the order of like the component here in the home page. But by the way, let me just dive in quickly, and we know the path of this page is homepage / demo. So this is the exact page. This is different from this since we are creating we have the header, we have the top video. I know this is not, this is for this. We have the opening slider, and we have the exact opening slider. So you can see the order of this of these components here matters most because it will reflect on the front end. Just to prove my point, I can just reorder the agent and the opening lifestyle slider. So let me just put this as the third item on the list and save, and try to, maybe I'd like to just copy this and to kind of compare what happened here after we reordered the components. So yeah, as expected, we have the opening component here, and completely different from the moment after we save the component. Let me just go back and reorder it again, and we can reorder that. You can actually, if you don't want a feed, for example, so you can just click on that, and remove. But by the way, before we remove this, we can now identify the global components because when we select the expected or the specific component, we have this global use global settings as opposed to the regular component. We don't have that setting here. Just to prove my point, and property slider, we have the agent, the video of the week has no global component as well. And we have testimonial slider. We don't have a global component or setting. And so is with the communities grid or grid. So if we are going to select the work with us, we have the use global component settings turned on, and the feed as well as the footer. So what are these things? How are we going to manipulate this? Let me just go directly to the header. We know we've discussed the global components in a specific section of our tutorial, and I'll be discussing this and how are they, how we could just create a global, not use the global settings. Instead, we will use a page specific setting. Like for example, on the home page, we can set all the, we know this is very familiar because this is the exact UI of our global components, namely header. So we can just set all the desired settings specific to homepage, since we're not pulling up the global settings. So this is basically it. And so of course you can use the same kind of setting here on the work with us component and also the feed component. You can even manipulate what or what you can change the source of your feed depending on the page you are in, and as well as the footer, the same thing. This is actually the exact global component. So this is the composition of a page. This is how we create page. To kind of recap, we have to set the property details. So again, let me just use that to make a recap so that it will retain. And we have to set the title of the page. You can set the path and the page type depending on what are the type of page, what is the type of page that you are creating. So you should select the proper page type here so that you can take advantage of how we can actually create page. And by the way, you can just you can remove like for example, we don't need the feed, so you can remove that and replace that with, actually you can add components here. Like for example, like to add the blog list, so or blog showcase, whatever it is. So you can just drag that in. You can reorder depending on the desired order of that component. And of course you need to select, just change the setting of that component. You can just preview this. Let's just to try to prove this my point. You can just save that, and again, let me refresh, and let's see if we have blog list activated on our yeah, we have this one, sample blog, and we have the sample blog number 2. And this is how we actually manipulate pages, how we create pages. And if you have a specific question related to creating pages, let me know so that I will create a video specific to addressing your concern. Thank you.